So, last video I mentioned that the next thing that we would talk about is a trip into Marvel's magic side. But actually, I thought about it a little more, and between what happens there and what we know season one is going to be about, I think it's actually a better idea to move this video a little bit up in the schedule. So, this video, we're going to talk about the Web Warriors, the Master Weaver, and the Web of Destiny, and of course, how it's all being affected by Chronovium. Hello, friends. I am the Riddler. The wrong universe, I know. And this is Marvel Rivals Season 0. Whose web is it anyway? Yes, I'm very happy with that title. We start with Penny Parker on patrol. She's mostly musing to herself, like most webheads do. She mentions how Master Weaver and Spider Zero spend most of their time these days arguing back and forth on what to do about the time stream entanglement. They both have varying ideas on Chronovium, as does Penny, since she considers doing upgrades to Spider using the mysterious element. But after getting rid of a straggling Doombot, Penny tries to ask the Master Weaver what exactly the deal is with this Chronovium stuff, seeing as she hasn't had a chance to experiment with it herself. Not satisfied with the complete non-answer he gives, Penny decides to lobby the same question at Spider Zero, who she sees dropping pieces of Chronovium through tiny portals after sticking them to pieces of paper. The Master Weaver is teaching Spider Zero to not only listen in on, but to slightly influence an infinite number of other worlds and futures. Spider Zero is taking her responsibilities for the web quite seriously, and according to Penny, is sounding more like Master Weaver every day. Then we shift back across space and time to a New York patrolled by the one and only Peter Parker, everyone's good old Spider Man, which is also a New York that is run over by vampires. On his average patrol, as usual, Peter suddenly receives a folded paper from someone named Spider Zero, letting him know that the Master Weaver will have use for him soon. I think it's important to take note right here, just real quick. This could be nothing, but when Peter receives this folded piece of paper with a message on it, which we heard about Spider Zero sending those to herself, it doesn't have Chronovium on it. So I think that the Chronovium she's attaching to these notes is in part powering the note through time. Like the reason the note can go through the portal of Web and Destiny as this physical piece of paper is because Chronovium is on it, and like it uses the energy of that to power the portal to go backwards in time. Because Peter doesn't receive Chronovium right here, and that's the only reason I could think of for why, because we know where this letter comes from. Either way, it's shortly after receiving the paper that Spider Zero shows up in person and asks Peter for help in probably as cryptic a manner as possible. Sensing Peter's reluctance, Spider Zero shows him the web of life and destiny through a portal. She explains that this web is essential to all spider people, and without it, they would disappear. And with no spider people, reality would likely be soon to follow them. Peter's good nature flares inside him, but he manages to control it, explaining that his city is really fucked up right now and that he needs to be in New York specifically at this moment. Spider Zero doesn't argue with this, but does let him know that she will be back. Shortly after she leaves, however, Spider Man is approached by the Human Torch, who lets him know that Blade is back in town to help with all the vampires. What's that? What's going on with the vampires and the Human Torch and Blade? Oh, don't worry about all that, my friends. Those are season 1 videos. An undetermined period of time after this, Spider-Man does indeed take Spider Zero up on her offer and request, traveling 75 years into the future where he meets Spider-Punk, Penny Parker, and Spider, as well as everyone's favorite hero, the Amazing Bagman. Spider Zero has brought them all together to form the Web Warriors. The issue is that by the time Peter has accepted Spider Zero's offer, it seems that the Master Weaver has had a falling out with his former apprentice. The Master Weaver has decided that Chronovium must be the solution to these problems and tries to use Chronovium to strengthen and keep together the web of life and destiny. Spider Zero has tried to argue this since they don't know how dangerous Chronovium is or could be. And as a reward for her protests, the Master Weaver banishes them from the Spider Islands. Now, this last part is a little bit of conjecture from my brain, but considering in our inventory, in the Battle Pass, those useless things that nobody but me cares about, we get a spider totem. I think that the spider totem, which is more than just a statue, it is not just a literal totem, it actually does things. But I think that the spider totem and the spider totem's energy has been laced with Chronovium. And I think that is what is making the Master Weaver act strange. Because in Penny's story, we see the Master Weaver and Spider Zero, and they're still perfectly fine with each other. The time entanglement has already started, and there's no disagreement between the two of them on how they should handle this. So something happens that then makes Master Weaver get pushed over the edge. I don't know if he like just gets more time to think on it or like whatever it is. If someone comes and talks to him, if Chronovium is like poisoning his mind, something happens that makes him very suddenly no longer be cool with his plan to keep the web of life and destiny safe. So I would not be surprised if we got more maps and story beats that are about the Master Weaver. I think it is Chronovium's influence that is making the Master Weaver be like, oh, Chronovium is the only solution for this. Because putting it in the web of life and destiny, that would spread it even further, right? That would spread it to more realities than where it is. I mentioned in the second video, in the Galacta video, when talking about Chronovium originally, I mentioned that Chronovium appears in places of power and importance, even if they are not yet important. So the way that it is capable of doing that, it might be because it gets integrated into the web of life and destiny. So it knows not only because the web of life and destiny is the source of all of the spider people's powers, right? So Spidey sense is like a very, very powerful sense. Everyone remarks on this in the Marvel universe. It's incredible how strong Peter Parker and Miles Morales and Penny Park, well, spiders, not Penny Parker. She doesn't technically have powers, but it's incredible how strong their spider sense is. And that is because of the web of life and destiny. They have a limited amount of precognition through the web of life and destiny because the web can tell what's going to happen, not only what has happened. So if Chronovium is put into that web, perhaps that is why Chronovium can show up in important places despite the fact that those places aren't important yet. Like they will be important, and you can tell that because Chronovium's there. That might be because Chronovium gets integrated into the web of life and destiny. But I don't know. Like I said, that's just a total guess for me. That's just an idea that's not confirmed anywhere or written anywhere. Um, but yeah, I think that's where we stand currently in the story of the Web Warriors in 2099. Like I said, 2099 is a very important year in this game. It is where most people hail from, I would say. Most people are from 2099. If not 2099, then 2024. Those are the two constants, which is interesting because there are some outliers who we don't know what year it was in their reality when it went away, or we don't know what reality they originally come from and stuff like that. So there are other years in the game, but the two important ones seem to be 2024 and 2099. Also, please share this video with anyone who genuinely thought that we were getting Ultron next. Like Ultron was going to be a season 1 character. This game literally launches with the entire Fantastic Four being mentioned in multiple people's lore and Dracula being a central antagonist of several people's lore. Like, we didn't talk about him, but Iron Man, Squirrel Girl, all of those people, they don't even mention Doom in their lore pages. They're all concerned about, like, the vampires and Dracula because that shit is happening right now. So, like, if you just read the lore, it's pretty obvious that we weren't getting Ultron. No one says anything about Ultron. No one mentions a word about Ultron anywhere. And Dracula and the Fantastic Four are all over the fucking place in lore. But, you know, the lore it's harder to get a beat on the lore. That's why I'm making these videos, so that I do it so that you don't have to. If you like this video, check out our Season 0 story playlist so you can get an actual idea of what and who is likely coming next in Marvel Rivals. Until I see you again, which should be later today because we got to get these videos out. It's already January 8th. Be good people. Bye.